All right, I'm gonna hit it. Let's see what Sony got for us this year, boys and girls. Wonder what this is. You think this could be a Bug's Life?
I think I know what this is.
Shit, it's a dead frog. Might be Frogger. Might be another Frogger sequel. All this anticipation, just tell us what it is. Damn. Oh yeah, nah, this is Metal Gear. Hell yeah. Oh, I love that. There's the snake right there. That was cool. I love that. Snake was eating, man. I like this trailer. That just put a smile on my face. Solid Snake creeping in the wilderness. I can't wait. Oh man. Oh man. It's been so long since we had an honest Metal Gear Solid. Hopefully that's what we get. That's gonna be #1 on my list right there. Now I have to get a PlayStation. It's mandatory now. Like, it's sacrilege if I don't.
That's based off Metal Gear 3.
So 3 is the very first one. That's when I think this is Solid Snake. He becomes Big Boss, or this is Naked Snake. I don't know. Snake becomes Big Boss after the events of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, because they show you who Big Boss really is. It's this like blonde-haired woman. She's totally badass, and she basically taught Snake everything he knows.
Okay, I thought it was kind of weird. Like,
No.
I'm like, why didn't they start off with 1 first? But 3 is first, and then it's 1, then it's 2.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
4 is where he's an old man.
yeah.
Okay.
And then you gotta throw in Raiden in there somewhere, because like he had a whole story.
Count that shit.
Nah, he's canon. He counts.
He's not gonna get his own game.
Raiden already had his own game.
I'm saying a revamp version of it. Like, that's not happening.
You never know.
Well, who wants it though? That's what I'm
That
saying.
Raiden game was actually pretty popular. People really were fucking with it.
Because it was cheap. That game was not good. Come on, keep it 100. I mean, if it's good to you, all right. But that wasn't high. That wasn't compared to. So if you compare the writing game to Metal Gear, you telling me that they was on the same level?
Nah, but that's the point. They're supposed to be different like genres into that. Well, different I would say different genres in its own entry. If I'm saying that correctly.
We didn't necessarily ask for like that. That don't even feel like Metal Gear universe. It's just like completely separate from Metal Gear.
Well, they wanted to see how people would react to a fast-paced Metal Gear game instead of the slow creeping espionage. It wasn't that bad. People liked it. I mean, and the cutscenes were pretty good. I mean, the story was pretty good, and the action was pretty good. It was like Bruce Willis of Metal Gear instead of, I don't know, Too Smooth, Ryan Gosling of Metal Gear.
I'm just telling you like this. I know the main part that everybody's really anticipating is Metal Gear 2. That was the best Metal Gear. Well,
Oh my
say
God.
3 was, but to me, Metal Gear 2 like set the bar. As far as even like when it came to even graphics, it was like, yo, it pushed PlayStation 2 to the limit. Like, we seen what PlayStation can do because of Metal Gear. And
That's true.
3, it was like, 3 was okay. You know what I'm saying? It didn't do nothing for me.
Really, you didn't like 3? I thought 3 was the one that really pushed the boundaries, because it was the story, the outside elements. It was. I thought 3 was some real hot shit.
I didn't care for that. I never cared for like the outside elements. I always that's like the difference when you play Metal Gear. I mean, Resident Evil 3, and then you play Resident Evil 4. For some reason, when you outside in the forest, it's like the environment, it just comes off boring. But when you in like a building facility, jumping from place to place, it's just more action. It seems more action packed. I feel like this game is gonna be slow. It's gonna be too slow paced for me, for my taste, compared
I
to
feel you.
Metal Gear 2. When you on the boat and then you sneaking in and you doing all this other stuff, yo, that joint is like intense. When you outside of the forest, it's like you could take your time. I don't want to take my time.
Yeah, because I remember part 2. They get you on that boat and they do the whole reveal, because he's in like a poncho or some shit like that. Then he takes off that shit, and it's like, oh man.
Like that
whole,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember that. I
like my game's more civilized compared to like this outdoorsy kind of stuff. Same thing with Resident Evil. Like, you play Resident Evil 3, you play 4. It's like 4 is supposed to be the better game, but when you outside, it just seems like it's slow paced, it's dull, it's boring. You're looking at the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't revamp a tree but so many times. But when you end up building or something like that, you got the lab, you got tech room, you got this, you got that. It's like it switches up more for me. The colors pop.
Yeah, all that like flashy lights and all that stuff from the computers and the
Yeah,
Steam and yeah, and I feel you. It's more of that modern aesthetic that you like in your video games versus that wilderness. Well, I don't know. For me, 2 and 3 are on the same par in my book. Like they're both good in their own aspect. As when you go for like jungle warfare or like that straight up espionage, like they're both great games. Honestly, I like three's story more because I always like the story from the beginning. Because when I first played it, I was like, oh wow, I'm learning so much about these characters. It was great and it connected a lot of dots. So that was really satisfying for me as a Metal Gear Solid fan and a bigger fan of the series' storyline more than the game.